up everyone and welcome to Fiction Tea Reviews. Talk about the Mexican movie called Tigers Are Not Afraid. I first want to say thank you to the person that told me about this film, and now let's get into it. So, Tigers Are Not Afraid is a 2017 horror fantasy. It's 1 hour and 23 minutes. It is in Espanol, and it's directed by Issa López and Guillermo del Toro. The main characters are Estrella and El Shine. I believe it takes place in Mexico. It's a story about a young girl who becomes an orphan after her mother disappears. She befriends, well, not quite befriend, but meets other children living on their own, and from there they get into trouble with drug/human trafficking and dangerous men. This movie really highlighted young kids growing up in circumstances where they had to grow up quickly and become kind of adults in many different ways due to losing their parents and family members. There were definitely a lot of scenes where it portrayed them in childlike ways, but there were a lot of other scenes where you could see the kids had to like stand up for themselves. They had to be grown-ups. They had to be mature. And because of the trauma that they've been exposed to so much, it made them grow up really fast in those situations and in life, really. I love how that dynamic is highlighted in this film, because people who may not have known about this or seen kids having to go through this, or maybe living in like a sort of world where they don't think this stuff exists, they can be exposed to it. And also for people who are experiencing this, children who are experiencing this, and this is still happening in many different parts of the world, but also Mexico as well. There are young kids who are having to environments where they have to become adults. They have to take care of their lives. They have to be mature. I feel like this is very well done. I feel like that message was definitely put across to highlight their lives. There was kind of rivalry between the little boy and the little girl, especially in the beginning, and it seemed really, really natural. And one thing I want to mention is that I looked it up afterwards. There was an interview. She talked about how these kids that she got to do this movie were actually already orphans, which made a lot of sense because you could really see, or they could have been just good as actors. But once she said that, I was like, it makes so much sense because you can really see them like standing in that character, you know, like it was like real. It was real. It was intense, especially El Shine. His character was great. And I think all of those kids, they weren't actors. They were just regular orphans. Like she just found kids who were already orphans and asked them to do this film because it would make it more authentic and more real. And that was the beauty of this film, because not only was she telling a story about, I'm sure people are experiencing right now and have been experiencing, but she used actual real people who were not trained actors, and you'd be like, see, you know, like, all right, do this, do that, you know, like it was just natural. It was a natural thing. And those type of movies always come out really, really well, to be honest, in my own opinion. I love that this film has haunting elements in it while also telling a really rich, good story at the same time. The mixture of supernatural darkness mixed with the real darkness of life that they had to deal with. And even that scene with the little boy, I'm not going to spoil it, it really made me understand this is what goes on. And I mean, they had to toughen it out when that situation happened. I was like, wow. Like, even me watching it was like, it does something to me. So I just thought, imagine what it does to these kids, you know? Yeah, that combination of creepy horror hauntiness with the mother, and the hauntings of real situations, like their life is at risk every single day. I love those two things. Another thing I like was what was done with the mother character and how she guided her daughter throughout the film. She always protected her, like, no matter what, no matter the circumstances, which I'm not going to spoil because you have to see the movie to know what I'm talking about. Lastly, I will mention the many references to tigers and they mention Tigers Are Not Afraid, and how in the beginning the kids were kind of telling the story about the tiger. Kind of a message as kids were the tigers, were able to not be afraid, and like the girl in the end was finally able to not be afraid, and they were kind of on their own. So tigers are not afraid. I overall say this is a great film. I would definitely encourage you to watch it. You can watch it on Shudder, but I watched it online. I found it online, but I think if you have like a free trial Shudder, or if you have Shudder trial, then you can watch it on there. Definitely will recommend this. I appreciate the person who recommended this for me. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified for more videos. And before you go, do not forget to get you a copy of Rain by me, T Outlaw. It is a psychological thriller about a group of young adults in a psych ward who have been living there for so long. They kind of been confined to this lifestyle, and they don't think that it's ever going to change or they're ever going to get out of there. And then they meet this guy, John Smith, and he becomes their new counselor, actually. And he's like, something's going on up in here. Like, I'm being haunted. A lot of trauma things are happening. And I also feel like the kids have some sort of abilities and they're not just crazy. He's trying to learn different things about the kids so that he can figure out what's really going on in the place and get answers. John Smith. All the kids walk in quietly. I stand anxiously at the front of the room like a match candle light. Like a match candle light, ready to be blown out at any moment. Alright, everyone. I have a few guests here to meet you all. Who is it? Asks Kale. She is chewing at her fingernails. I don't like surprises. I don't like surprises, says Tail wearily. I take a deep exhale, lowering my head. I blurt, I'd like you all to meet my cats. Tracy bursts with laughter. You sure had us scared, newbie. I smirk. This is Sven, Chalk, and Flower. From the cages out steps 3 black cats with yellow eyes purring and rubbing on the kids. I think they like you. Can I hold one? Asks Kale. Sure. Sure you can. Go ahead. I watch as they play with the kittens, smiling, laughing, deciding now is a good time, if any, to give them the news. I clear my throat, but they ignore me. Okay, now that I have you all in a happy place, I can share with you some news. Everyone stops to look at me. First news, we're getting a new student. And second, I wait. My shoulders tense with unease. The kids sense my worry. What's wrong? Kale asks. I don't know how to tell you this, but I look at the floorboards thinking, but no words spur from my mouth. Teo motivates. Go on, spit it out. The anticipation is killing me, newbie. I take a deep inhale. Exhale. Eyes open, close, open, close. Neo, as you know, isn't here today. Yeah, she's absent a lot. So what? Says Joseph. Then as if something registered in his mind, he shakes his head in horror. Something happened? Is Neo okay? Oh my god, what is it? Tracy groans. Neo. I don't look at them as the words roll off my tongue slowly. Is dead. The room goes silently flat. Impossible, wails Joseph. We were just with Neo yesterday. No, you're lying, he accuses. I'm not. I'm sorry. I was just told this morning that she died last night. I hold in the sadness. Kale moves. No, not Neo. No. Tail salutes before he covers his face with his hands balling with emotions. What did they say happened to Neo? They said she just died in her bed, that she didn't wake up. Why? What was the cause of it? I don't know, Joseph. My eyebrows frown with guilt. I was the last person Neo probably had contact with before her death. I should have paid more attention to her constant alcoholism as a sign. How don't you know? How don't you know what happened to Neo? Joseph erupts like a volcano.